Hello and welcome back to our channel.
Today in this video we're going to be tracking down and transforming some old unwanted furniture pieces.
In the land of YouTube, this is known as the furniture flip. So Tracy's recently discovered Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, and we've actually got a couple of things already from there. So we've got G-Plan dresser in our dining area, which you may have seen in one of our videos. It was free. We also got a set of leather dining room chairs, 4 of them for £20. So I would definitely recommend going on there. Probably not the younger people who watch us, but certainly the parents. So today we are going to have a look on there and see what bargains there are, what kind of furniture's got potential.
We're going to see what we can turn around and flip into something that's better than it currently is on the marketplace.
Obviously you have to have Facebook to access Facebook Marketplace, and it literally is the tab there, like kind of little shop, and you click on there like that. You can obviously look for whatever category you'd like. There's actually a free category. Today we are looking for furniture, so I'm going to click the furniture. These are all the furniture items that are available in our local area. I actually set it to 4 kilometres. Because we didn't want to travel too far. So we have kind of sideboards. You can put brands in if you want something from IKEA, and it's great, you know, there's so much there. There you go, there's a nice free dining table and 4 chairs.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's a lovely table. It has potential.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a G-Plan table in that you can extend it.
We're looking for, I think, it's got to fit in our car.
Small object.
A small object.
Or a collection of small objects.
Selection of... Ooh. Oh my goodness, okay.
That looks perfect.
Okay guys, so we have just seen some, there you go, these chairs, £20 the lot. There's a wicker chair, 1, 2, they look absolutely destroyed. Stools. How many are there?
5. I think the wicker chair is pretty, if that's been left outside, that'll be pretty hard to do anything with. The others, they have potential. They look perfect for what we're trying to do, don't they?
They do. 6 chairs, £20.
Very near.
Absolutely destroyed, so they're going to need a lot of work. So basically on Facebook Marketplace you have to message the seller. Hi there, really interested in the chairs, can collect today or at your earliest convenience.
I hope they're available because those are perfect. I absolutely love to have those and make them over because I think we could do some really nice things for them.
The guy's got back to us, he's called Tim.
Tim the chair?
Yeah, Tim, and we've got £20, so we're going to go now and collect our chairs. I'm really excited.
Yeah, hopefully they're worth £20. Yeah.
There you go, there's the chairs. Hopefully we'll get them in the car.
They're really nice bits of old kind of vintage wooden furniture with really nice stories behind them.
It seems like they're a different lot because we didn't get the wicker chair, which we weren't sure about, but we also got 2 extra ones. The chairs were basically the gentleman's mum's. Yeah, he was hoping they were going to go to a good home and be restored.
Look at these little pins.
Nice. We've put all the furniture on the table and we are thrilled.
So you can see it.
We've got a really good deal, I think, 20 quid.
More than a really good deal. Some of these pieces of furniture, these stools are old kind of milking stools and they are really lovely. They don't look lovely at the moment, but they're really nice pieces of furniture. So many things you can do with these. You could have them as footstools, you could have them as little coffee tables, you could put plants on them.
So this is I don't know what period chair this would be. This does need a lot of work, but it's got some really lovely features, really well made. Chair number 2 is wonderful. I think this was my favourite piece of furniture. Really beautiful high legs, beautiful kind of intricate with a really interesting back.
We have 4, I think, variations on milking stools, I would say. They're all slightly different. They're slightly different sizes, slightly different weights. This one, for example, is really heavy. Some of them have got paint on them, some of them haven't. Obviously the legs are all slightly different. What's unique about all of them, what's really lovely about all of them, I would say, is that they all have these kind of metal nails in them, so they've been kind of nailed together, sort of sign of how they were constructed. These were constructed really quickly. Whatever they are, whether they're milking stools or school chairs for school children, they're all completely unique and very wonderful.
And finally, we have what is most definitely a milking stool. I think this is in better condition than all the other items of furniture. Again, very solid, nice piece of wood. Really excited to actually see what we can do with this. I know what I'm going to do first. It is probably the easy option, just to kind of get myself kind of into it, but it's probably one of my favourite pieces.
The milking stool, isn't it?
It is. So I'm going to start by having a go at doing something with the milking stool.
You won't know this at home, but this is really heavy. It's very simple, but it's very, very well made. I know what I'm going to start with, or what type of furniture I'm going to start with. I just don't know which one. So I'm going to start with one of the square stools. This is the one I've had my eye on. And the reason I've had my eye on this one is because it's the one that's in the worst condition, the brightest colour, and it's the heaviest. So I'm really interested to see what happens if I strip away this massive, massive thick layer of yellow paint. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hot gun to this paint and burn it off to see what's underneath.
Okay.
What's the first thing you're going to do?
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a clean.
I knew you were going to say that.
When you take a closer look at the chair, you can see there's quite a few paint marks, lots of kind of dots of paint here, and that's pretty much all over the chair.
I'm going to see what's under this paint now by using this heat gun to heat it up so it goes soft, and then scrape it away and just get a quick look.
I've got a bowl of hot water with some washing up liquid in there and also some cloths.
This is what the wood looks like. You can see bits of yellow, that's obviously the paint. So I'm not going to do this in here, I just wanted to quick check it. I'm going to go and do this outside.
As you can see, it's coming up really nice. There are some bigger patches of paint. I have a scourer here with a tiny bit of water. Again, I don't want to get the chair too wet.
So I've managed to burn off most of the paint on the stool, as you can see. The underside is also heavily painted. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the whole stool apart. Done quite a lot of different types of experimenting, and obviously I've taken it all apart. So these are the panels that are on the side. That's one with the paint removed. This wood isn't very good. When I took it apart, it split. I've glued and I've still got tape on them. I've got to take the tape off. The top's fine, there's no splits in it. Yeah. I just need to take all that tarry kind of paint staining off it. What I've decided I'm going to do with the legs, I'm going to leave the paint on, but I'm going to take some of it off. Something like this. I'm not sure yet.
I accept, Jamie, that yours is definitely much harder than mine for this.
Yeah, you got a nice milking stool.
I've got a nice milking stool.
Where is it?
Although I have spent 3 hours cleaning the milking stool. Voila!
It looks exactly the same.
It does not look exactly the same.
It's the same.
Well,
it's a bit shiny and clean.
I don't think you looked at it in, obviously we've looked at it in quite a lot of detail. It was covered in tiny dots of paint and it was also very dirty.
Yeah, you can see the wood grain now.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, you can really see, like you say, the grain of the wood. But having done that, I'm now looking at it thinking, why would I sand it? Because there is no imperfections in it, it's smooth. However, I don't like the variation in the colour because obviously I'm going to stain it.
Right, okay.
There's the wood dye that I'm using. It's really old. I actually got this out of the garage. There is a little bit left, so hopefully I'll have enough.
So I'm ready to start sanding. I've got 3 different types of sandpaper. The first is a 40 grit sandpaper. This is a very rough sandpaper and should get rid of any paint or any paint residue.
Basically what it says to do is just use a dry cloth and rub all over the chair.
I've got 120 grit sandpaper. This is a little bit finer. And then thirdly, I've got a 1200 grit. This is a very, very fine, finishing sandpaper.
The chair is completely dry now, really smooth. It didn't need sanding, so give it a shake. I haven't done this for so long, so I'm really hoping that this is going to turn out.
So let's get sanding.
Okay, let's go. Oh, that's a really nice colour actually. It's not too dark, but just hopefully dark enough so I get a consistent colour. That's the stool stained. Really like the colour. It's a beautiful, rich, dark oak. You can also still see the grain, which I really wanted to try and keep.
Okay, this is the stool all sanded. So there are a few dots of yellow, which I've actually left on the stool because I really like it. Yeah, I think that's a really good cleanup.
I'm now going to add some paint to the stool and just give it a tiny bit of colour.
I'm now going to paint a design on my stool and emulate the yellow paint that was there at the beginning.
If you watch the pop art furniture video, which Jamie and I did a few months ago, I did a table and on the legs I painted some stripes with masking tape. That's what I'm going to do with the stool.
I'm going to create some circular pop art target patterns and work them into the top seat of the stool.
I think Jamie's doing something similar on his stool, so hopefully they'll work well as a set.
So I've mixed up my yellow paint and I think this is a really good match.
I've mixed a really nice shade of red. It's like a postbox red, also a shade of green.
Here's an example of the design that I'm going to go for. It's like a pop art target, but I'll be doing it in just yellow, so I won't be using any of the other colours.
I'm going to use some tape and I'm going to mask off the bottom sections of the stool's legs. That's the plan. I'm hoping I can get some really clean lines with this.
I'm excited to see how this turns out. Let's start marking out my design.
Okay, let's give it a go.
So I've finished marking out the target design on the top of the stool seat. I'm really pleased with it, and now what I'm going to do is start painting the yellow in the lines.
That's the masking done. Let's start painting. So I use the tape just to get a really clean line, using the brush just to give it the additional coats.
So I'm really thickening up the yellow paint now because I want it to look like the same sort of paint that's on the legs of the stool. And as you can see, in some parts I've actually painted black because it's more in line with the original yellow that was already in place.
I'm now going to paint the rim of this chair and I'm hoping this will be a really nice finishing touch.
So I'm going to try and get a few layers on here and then I'll be done and ready to do the next thing, which will be varnishing.
That's the painting done. Really happy with it. I managed to get some really nice clean lines on the legs. It's taken me pretty much all day to do the details.
I've now finished painting my design. It's taken me about 3 to 4 hours, but it looks exactly as I'd planned.
Final thing I have to do now is give it a good varnish.
Now all I have to do is seal the design and give the stool a quick varnish.
I've got this clear varnish which I've had for a while. It's a really nice gloss finish and hopefully it'll give it a really good seal.
So I'm using an old exterior wood varnish, which is gloss finish and clear.
I'm looking for a really nice consistent sheen on the final stool, so hopefully this will do the trick.
This gloss is slightly yellow, which is actually what I want. I want to make the white sanded pine look a little old and aged.
Okay, so I'm going to have to do this outside, so I'll see you guys for the final reveal. We have finally finished our stools. I'm so excited. I mean, basically we've been doing this over the course of a few days.
And I don't know about you, but I'm really pleased with the way that mine looks. For me, I'd say it kind of justifies the process because in my case, I really believe that you can take something that just looks terrible and absolutely battered
Yeah.
Turn it into something that actually I really love.
And the last time I saw yours, Jamie, it was basically in pieces.
Yeah. Well, the last time I saw yours, you just washed it. So
That took me a day.
So who's going to go first then?
Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Just so I can kind of keep the suspense a bit longer of seeing your stool. There you go, Jamie.
Lovely. That's really, really lovely. Okay, so I'm really glad that you didn't do much to this. I'm really glad that you just kind of touched it up with some nice colour on the legs. You've taken something that was already a really nice piece of furniture, you've stained it slightly to make it darker, which looks lovely.
Yeah.
And then you've added some really nice kind of, sort of, not retro, but quite sort of secondary, tertiary green and red. It's not a primary red and a primary green to it.
Yeah.
Which I really, really like. Varnished it as well, right?
I have actually sealed it with a spray varnish because I wanted it to be quite kind of consistent. No brush marks, basically. Yeah, and I really like, I don't know if you've kind of seen here, I mirrored the green leg with just a tiny
no, I didn't notice
little
that.
bit of green there.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's underneath the chair. Again, I didn't touch this. But I made sure that basically it was cleaned up really well, stained, and then given a nice gloss seal.
Well done. Good work.
So comment down below, guys, what you think of it. Okay, Jamie.
My turn.
Your turn.
Here's my stool.
Oh my goodness. I am shocked.
So, obviously there's quite a lot of difference from the last time you saw it. It was in bits.
Wow.
Some of the paint I'd removed and some of it I hadn't yet removed.
Yeah.
And I tried out the thing on the leg.
Yeah.
Which I kept. So
same as me.
it's similar, yeah. Well, it actually came from your original table one that you did.
Yeah.
Tried to match up the colours, which is sort of like a really old off yellow and black.
Basically, you have used the circles to create a kind of geometric circle thing.
Target. Kind of pop
it's
up
a target.
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of pop up.
Oh, that's wonderful. Really creative, and again, I'm quite happy to have that in our home now.
Because it doesn't have any significant value other than its history.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I kept that, which is where the yellow paint and the kind of wood and the damage of the wood and the splits and all that.
I really love this.
There's like imperfections on the legs there where the wood is split. I glued all this up. I didn't replace it. I just worked with exactly what was there because I just like the historical story on it.
Completely different to what I expected, but actually better because obviously it's much more creative and you've worked with the architecture of the stool, if you like. So
architecture and heritage of the stool.
Heritage of the stool, yeah. These are the final stools together. They're actually very similar but also very different.
Really, really pleased with both of these. I think we're going to get a lot of use out of them both.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know in the comments what you thought of the stools that we made over and redesigned.
And obviously we bought a job lot of these stools, as you will have seen in the beginning. So comment below if you'd like to see an episode 2 because there are some other really interesting chairs that we can make over.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Bye.